So, what are some of the biggest mistakes foreigners make when they first move to Thailand? After my cost of living video in the last video, if you guys haven't seen that, go check it out. I thought I'd follow that video up by going into some of the mistakes people make when they first move to Thailand when it comes to money, visas, healthcare, something like that. So I'm going to break down the 6 major key things that I think people need to make sure they check before they decide to take the big plunge, sell their whole life and move themselves to Thailand. So, I'm Vic, I'm 29, I've lived in Thailand now for 9 years. Like, subscribe, check out some of the videos of us doing some motocross riding, enduro riding, wakeboarding, travelling and everything else in between. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll catch you in the next one as well. So, mistake 1 that I always see people do before they move to Thailand is their visas. So they don't actually check out the correct visas and ways they can actually live here in Thailand. They see on TikTok that someone lives here on a tourist visa or they're just living here freely and they don't really think about that sort of thing. This is one thing you really do need to check before you move here is your visas. What are you planning to do whilst you're here? Are you going to work? Are you going to do education? Are you working a line? Are you an expat? What are you actually doing here? Or are you just trying to stay here for an extended holiday? Now, a lot of people think, I'll figure it out later. I'll turn up on a tourist visa and I'll just think about it afterwards. Now, as a great of idea that actually is, to be honest, is a terrible idea. What you want to try and do before you come is work out what you want to do and how long you want to stay for. If you are going to stay for the year, a good idea often is an education visa. It will often just give you a year visa. You can learn some Thai in the process. And it's an easy visa to get yourself onto. Slight downsides, hard to go on holiday abroad, that sort of thing. You're kind of stuck in the country because you're meant to be in school, you're meant to be working and learning and all that sort of thing. Next thing is underestimating visa fees. Now, a lot of people just assume that, it's Thailand, it's going to be cheap. No, it's not. Now, when you do your visa runs, for instance, you have to fly to a different country or get a bus to a different country, that costs money. You need to get a hotel in the foreign country, then you've got to get your visa to come back into the country, you've got to extend your tourist visa if you're on a tourist visa, or you have to pay for your DTV, or you have to pay for your education visa. People think the visa system here is really cheap, which it kind of is at times, but you will pay a lot for your agency fees and for your schooling and that type of thing. So it will end up costing a lot of money. The average education visa goes for around 30 to 50,000 baht. I paid 50 for my last one that I did, but I had a really good school included in that and often went to school 3 times a week as well. So that was really good and it was well worth the money as well. Another thing people don't realise is when you're starting a new visa, the amount of days you've already been here on come off of your visa already. So for instance, if you've been here for 60 days and then you start your education visa, well, you've already used 60 days of your 1-year education visa, which is I found out the hard way because I thought, I'll get an extra 2 months. If I stay here 2 months, then start my education visa, I'll get an extra 2 months. No, that's not how it works. I learned that one the hard way. I then only got 10 months on my education visa. To be honest, it would end up costing me more money than it would have done if I just stayed for the whole year. Now, that's something people don't realise and people don't work out here, and they end up spending more cash than they should have done just by trying to get their visas set up the correct way. So basically, overall, when it comes to visas, you should really plan out what you're going to do first. I don't necessarily mean get your visa before you come, because when it comes to getting visa, you often have to get them when you're in the country. When it comes to DTV, you have to apply abroad, or if you're getting your education visa, you can get it when you arrive and that type of thing. But make sure you sort out what visa you actually want to go on before you arrive here. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I see anybody make when they're moving to Thailand. They think they can just move here on a tourist visa, and Thailand is now sick of it. And of course, they have changed the visa rules now, so you can do less visa runs. Because when we were younger, it was okay. Now, no more visa runs. You need to stay here and get on the correct visa. So, mistake 2, and probably one of the biggest mistakes I think people make, not the first one, this is probably the bigger one to be honest, is choosing your accommodation too fast or booking it before you come. Now, what I would often say the best thing to do is when you're coming to Thailand is book a week or two's worth of accommodation. Nothing more than that, that's all you need to book. In that week or two, you will start to work out what it is you want to do, where you want to go, where you found was nice. Because if you booked, for instance, a week in one place, a week in another, you can start testing out where you liked and go from there. But what I see people do is come to Thailand and they pick the first condo that they've seen, the first city they've been to, and think, this is perfect, this is where I want to live. They get a yearly rental on a condo, which they probably overpaid for. If they rushed into it, they probably overpaid for it as well. They have then got to spend money on furniture because the furniture's shit. They then got to get a new bed because the mattresses here are horrible most of the time, so you need to get a new mattress or you can't stay on that for a year. And people rush into it way too fast and get stuck with a condo and often end up giving the condo back before the term lease is finished, and obviously losing your deposit. Another thing out, when you're checking a condo or checking a house out, there's things you've got to check for, which I've made this mistake so many times. Air cons, noise, water pressure, neighbours, things like that you really need to check out before you move in somewhere. Even where I'm living now, there's the neighbours 3-4 doors up that own about 10 Siberian dogs. Now, at least twice a day, they start howling like mental, and it's very, very, very annoying, I will say. And obviously, I've got an annoying little dog there as well, apparently. But it's very, very, very annoying. And another thing is water pressure. Now, I lived in a place probably about 4 years ago now. I didn't check the water pressure before I moved in, before I signed the contract. I moved in, I got in the shower, and it literally trickled out like water. It would have been better off getting a scoop and bucket and showering that way, to be honest, because that's what a lot of places are like in Thailand if you go to rural. But the water pressure was absolutely terrible. And then again, in a different house that I've had before, was the air cons. Now, if the air cons in the place don't work properly or they're really bad, you will spend your whole time sweating like crazy. But then also you're paying for the electric, so your electric bill goes up so much because the aircon's always turned on. So you end up saving more money if the aircon is installed, and it is installed properly and it's a good working aircon. You will spend less money if you don't need it on all the time. So one of the major key things you also want to do when it comes to renting a condo or a house here is looking into the contracts. So the contract is always very, very one-sided. It is on the side of the owner's side. On the other side of the owner's side? On the side of the owner. Now, they make sure the owner is 100% secure, safe, and ready for any situation that may occur. So, definitely check over the contract before you move into anywhere, and make sure it keeps yourself safe as much as them, because if you notice things on the contract, you can say to the agent, can you change that? And they will often change it for you. So overall, to be honest, choosing a shorter term stay, if you are only staying here for a year, try find 3-month rentals, or maybe even book an Airbnb. Now, you will pay a little bit more money for an Airbnb, but your Wi-Fi, your bills, your everything's included. You haven't got to think about anything, and if there is problems, you can always contact Airbnb and get a refund. Now, when it comes to signing a contract, as we all know, you've signed a contract. There's nothing you can do about it, and you will lose your deposit, and you will lose everything in the middle. So make sure you check out your accommodation properly and don't rush into it. I see so many people rush into a condo or rush into a house. The first thing they see is really nice, and they regret it instantly and end up losing their deposit. Mistake 3 that I see so many people make is underestimating the costs here in Thailand. Now, they go on TikTok, they go on Instagram, and they see someone say, oh, I live here for £800 a month. And funny I talk about this, literally yesterday I was sat on TikTok having a little scroll, and I saw someone telling me how they spend £800 a month here in Thailand. Now, that is a complete and utter lie. You need to make sure that what you're reading and what you're seeing online is the actual truth. You cannot survive here on £800 a month and live any sort of life. You are literally living in a hovel, eating crap. You need to be so careful about what you see and not under budget your life. There's obviously over budgeting as well, which is always a nicer touch. So over budget if anything, but do not under budget. You will regret it so much once you are here. What people often do is they only put into their budget rent and food. Now, that's great, obviously, because yes, 2 key things you definitely need in life is food and rent. But what else do you need? Well, you need transport, you need a visa, you need healthcare, you need plenty of other things, activities for instance, you need loads of things in the middle of that as well. People often think, oh, well, I can survive on rent and food. Yeah, okay, there's a difference between surviving and living. Now, a lot of people out here are surviving just because they don't want to go home because the life here is nice and it's nice and sunny. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Why are you trying to just survive here? What are you going to do in 5 years' time? Carry on surviving because your visa's going to be expired then, and you can only do 3 years of education visas or one DTV visa. So what are you going to do after that? Well, if you go onto a marriage visa, you need money. You do a dependency visa, you need money. Now, these people that are trying to live here on £800 a month and budget out for a whole year makes no sense to me whatsoever, because it's not a long-term fix. It's a short-term fix for a major problem you've got. Because they are forgetting major key things. Transport costs a lot of money here. Visas, as I've just gone back to in the first point, visas cost quite a lot of money here as well for your every year visa. And the last thing is insurance. Now, insurance is extremely expensive. I spent £800 a year, which I suppose actually isn't very expensive, but it's actually still an expense that you've got to put into consideration. If they're spending £800 a month, then £800 a year is quite a lot, because then you're adding another month onto your year all of a sudden. And that's just for one thing, and that's obviously, I'm a young, fit, healthy man, so that's completely different as well. If you're slightly older, obviously it starts creeping up by every year you decide to start doing it. Now, lifestyle spending creep is what a lot of people don't realise they do as well. Now, Thailand is, of course, super cheap for certain things, but you will find yourself spending more money here than you ever thought you would anywhere in the world, just because other people around you are going out, having fun, doing activities, going riding bikes, going and doing wakeboarding. I know I always use these things as examples, it's things that I go and do, but they do cost a lot of money. Now, drinking's a big part of that. People don't realise how much they spend when they go out drinking. You spend more here in a night out than you would do in the UK. So Thailand can feel very, very, very cheap, but to be honest, it's not at times, and it is quite a lot of money. As going back into that last video that I did, I spend around 3,000 USD a month, and don't get me wrong, I have a very good quality of life on 3,000 USD, but that's 3,000 USD a month, around 2,300 pounds, whatever that is, around 2,000, 2,200 pounds, around that sort of era, is how much it roughly costs me to spend my month here. Now, most people are trying to survive on between £1,500 and £3,000 a month. Anything less than £1,500, you need to go home and get a job, to be honest, because you're under budgeting way too much for your life here, and you will do nothing with your life other than walk around and eat some food, which is fine if you're a retiree. But if you're someone who's in the ages of 20 to 40 years old, why are you trying to survive? You should be trying to push your life a little bit harder. So, mistake 4 that I see so many foreigners make here is not getting insurance. Now, this one is absolutely insane to me. I don't understand who will do this. They have this mentality of, I'll be fine, it's going to be okay, I don't really need insurance, I can just go home if I get a problem. Now, that's completely a crazy way of thinking about things. You don't know when surprise illness is going to come up. I had an illness, I got a stomach infection thing about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. I got a stomach infection. It was from the amount of food, street food. I was eating too much street food at the time. I got a stomach infection from the street food, and I spent 3 days in hospital. Now, that would have cost me £6,000 if I hadn't have had my insurance with me. Obviously, I had insurance, so I was completely fine, but that was £6,000, or just over £6,000. Now, imagine that coming out of your budget halfway through your trip or halfway through your year here or something like that. Well, that's, to be honest, it's wiping out kind of money. And especially if you're living on a small budget and you don't want to get insurance because you're living on a budget, that's wiped out every single last penny you have, plus you're calling people from home trying to ask for money, which is the last thing you want to do when you're living abroad, is ask for money from someone back home who's working a steady job, working hard to provide for their family or whatever they're doing, and asking them for money whilst you're out here living the dream. It's not fair, and you shouldn't be doing it. Now, surely, when you get your visas and you get yourself sorted here, you need to get yourself some insurance just to give you some sort of peace of mind. Now, there'll be something sitting in the back of your head all the time if you don't have insurance. Oh, well, I can't get ill, or I can't have an accident, I can't do this, I can't do that, because you know that you can't have anything go wrong. Now, that ruins your time here because you're so scared the whole time about something going wrong. You can't have fun, you can't do certain things, you're worried that you're going to have an accident, you're worried that you're going to do anything. Now, it's something that really happens, and I've seen so many foreigners make the same mistake and not get insurance. Don't be one of those foreigners that makes that mistake. Think about how dangerous the roads are in Asia. Think about how dangerous activities are. Think about how dangerous walking down the stairs is, for God's sake. If you have an accident and anything happens, you break your arm or anything at all, you've got to think about how badly you're about to ruin everything, and you're going to be going home shortly afterwards for the sake of £800 a month or £800 a year or £1,000 a year just to get your healthcare sorted, and that covers you for all the major top hospitals in the country, covers you with broken bones, falling over, covers you for illnesses, all the rest of it. Why are you not spending that? I see so many foreigners without insurance. Don't be that foreigner. Don't do it. So, mistake 5 that I see many foreigners make when living here in Thailand is living like you're on holiday. Now, Thailand is a holiday destination. It's a beautiful place to go on holiday, and it's also a beautiful place to live. But if you do live here, you can't live like you're on holiday. You can't go party every night of the week. You can't go out, ride your bike and do activities every single day. You're not going to go out for dinner every single day. You need to start cooking a little bit more. Spend some days at home, chilling out and that type of thing. I see so many people that are living here long term on a budget, and all of a sudden they ask themselves, why have I run out of money? Why have I got to go home now? Well, because you're living like you are on a holiday. If you were in the UK, would you go out for dinner every single night? Probably not, because you couldn't afford to. Now, why are you doing it here? Yes, it may be cheaper for some things here, but if you're going out for dinner every night and you're going to actual restaurants and things, that costs a fortune. I mean, I go out quite a lot for Thai barbecue, but that's about £5-6 per meal. I go with my girlfriend as well, so that's £10 a meal. Yes, that's quite cheap, but you start doing 10, 15, £20 every single day. Well, you wouldn't spend that in the UK. You wouldn't go out for food every single day in the UK or the US and go out for dinners every single night because you can't afford to. Now, you can't afford to do that here either. You need to start thinking about your budget and making sure you can actually afford the things you want to do. Yes, I know it's such an easy place to live like you're on holiday. The sun's always out. Thais always want you to go and do things. There's always advice thrown in your face about you can go do this, you can go do that. There's always boat trips, there's always things you can go and do. Always a holiday you can go on as well. I mean, personally, I love a little holiday, don't get me wrong, but I go away once every 6 weeks or 2 months or so. I'll book a flight, I'll go down the islands, or I'll get in the truck, I'll drive to an island. We've got loads of these beautiful eastern islands not far away from us. We go every few months or so, or drive to Wahin or something like that. But I make sure that it's done in a way that's budgeted. I make sure it's not done all the time, and I make sure it's done pretty cheap. Now, people go away constantly. They live here, they get a condo, they get a house, they get a long-term rent, and then they're, I'm bored of the city, I want to go on holiday. And every other weekend, they're going on holiday. They get some time off work, or they're deciding whatever, and they just spend their whole time going on holiday, which is absolute madness. Ooh, sounds like a bird's on my roof. Now, it's living like a Westerner. So when you are here living in Thailand, you need to make sure you're living a little bit more Thai. You need to eat a bit more Thai or cook for yourself. Now, I know how cheap it is to cook because I cook basically every day. Yesterday, for instance, it was Christmas Day yesterday. It's now Boxing Day today. It was Christmas Day yesterday, and went out for Christmas dinner, which was lovely, don't get me wrong. That was our meal out. I think it was 1,500 baht for me and my girlfriend to go get some dinner, which is around £35 or so for a roast dinner with a dessert and drink and that kind of thing. So it was actually really nice, and it wasn't very expensive either. But in the morning, we cooked some banana muffins, we cooked some Monster oatmeal cookies, and there's our snacks for the afternoon sorted. You don't need to be going to 7-Eleven and spending loads of money and that type of thing. Most days we cook massamans, we cook pakrapows, something like that. Or I cook Western food. I've got burgers in the freezer, I've got chicken in the freezer, I've got pizzas or whatever. I cook a lot of shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie is one of my favourite things in the world to eat. So I love to make my own shepherd's pie, that type of thing. And it's really easy to make stuff here, and it's really, really, really cheap. A kilogram of chicken breast is around 80 baht. A kilogram of minced chicken is around 120 baht. Or if you want some minced pork, it's around 80 baht. That's for a kilogram of this stuff. You don't eat a kilogram per meal. You don't eat that much. So you're talking not a lot of money to cook for yourself, whereas you go to a local restaurant or go to a Western restaurant, obviously they've got to make money, prices in Thailand have gone up an awful lot, and it costs you an absolute fortune. So watch out for what you're spending, cook more, chill out more, and don't live like you're on a holiday or you'll be going home in 6 months. Number 6, I can't even get a thing. No, number 6 on mistakes of what not to make when here in Thailand is not adapting to the culture and lifestyle here. Back to that last point of always going out and eating Western or eating out and that type of thing. Thais don't eat Western, Thais don't eat out every day. They're often cooking, they're often chilling out at home and have their days off in a nice sort of way. So, another big thing about living here is expecting Western culture and Western systems and Western bureaucracy. It isn't like that here. The police, the government, the locals, everything, it's all very different here. You are not Thai, you won't ever be Thai, and they make sure they remind you of that all the time. Now, that's absolutely fine, because it's nice to be a visitor in a foreign country. I prefer it that way, but we are just visitors in a foreign country. A lot of foreigners don't like the fact that it's a two-tier pricing system, two-tier policing system, two-tier everything system. Everything goes in the favour of a Thai person. You have a road accident, goes in the favour of a Thai person. No matter what happens, the police or whatever are on the side of the Thai person unless there's clear volume, blank recording of someone doing the wrong thing. Other than that, the Thai person wins. People get really stressed out with this and really angry all the time and don't expect it to be like this. But that's how it should be. The Thai people come first, and that's that. We're second. So overall, Thailand is so much easier when you just adapt and become a little bit more Thai and get involved in the culture. Thais love it when you speak Thai. I say speak English. They love it when you speak Thai. They love it when you get involved more. They like it when you go to the little Thai restaurants. They like all that sort of stuff and get involved with the Thai cultures and Thai activities and things like that. We go to buffalo racing every year. I love going and watching buffalo racing. It's one of my favourite activities to go and do. I think it's great fun. Thais do loads of random fun activities. and they love it when foreigners get involved in all of it. Again, try some Muay Thai. That's a great way of getting involved in some Thai culture and Thai traditions and getting involved with some Thai people. They love Muay Thai here. It's a massive thing. They quite often on a Sunday, they'll sit round the table in the afternoon and they'll watch some Muay Thai in the afternoon on Channel 4, wherever, Channel 5, wherever it's on. They'll often watch Muay Thai on a Sunday afternoon because it's their national sport. They like it, they enjoy it. Now, when foreigners are here fighting or even just training Muay Thai, they love it that foreign people are coming here and getting involved in their national sport because it's Muay Thai, it's their sport, it's their thing, and they love it that way. So when you're here in Thailand, stop trying to fight the culture, just get involved with it. Yes, the culture's very different here to back west, but if you don't like the culture here, then why are you moving here? I see so many people move here just because it's cheap. Well, it's not very cheap anymore, and you can't live in your Western bubble. You need to get involved a little bit and just have fun whilst you're here. Just turn a little bit Thai, why not? Otherwise, why are you living here? Just have a holiday and go home and do that every few months. I meet so many people here that come here for 3 months, go home for 6 months, come here for 6 months, go home for 3 months, whatever. They're just doing and throwing. Now that is great. That's people that love back home, but also love here. That's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But once you move here and you live here long term, 1, 2, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you can't keep living in your own Western bubble. Number one, it will cost a fortune. Number two, you won't have any Thai friends and you'll never become a little bit Thai and start enjoying yourself like a Thai person would. It's really boring, if anything, actually. So keep an eye on that, go with the flow and just have some fun whilst you're here. So, in conclusion for this video, all I'm pretty much saying is, before you come, check your visas, check your healthcare, check your accommodation, make sure you're doing things correctly. It will end up costing you an absolute fortune if you do some of these things wrong, as I said about the healthcare system and all the rest of it. But Thailand is an amazing place to live. I love it and I will never move back. I've been here for 9 years now and it has become my home. I am going nowhere. But one thing to remember is it rewards people who are healthy, it rewards people who plan correctly, and it rewards people who have discipline. If you don't have discipline whilst you live here in Thailand, you will find yourself in the bars, in all the vices, and you'll find yourself going home in 6 months with empty pockets. Now, if you avoid these mistakes and you avoid all these sorts of things, you plan correctly, you don't be a complete degenerate, you just have fun, you get on with your life, you have a nice little house, you work hard, make sure you do plenty of exercise, you eat good, all the rest of it. Thailand rewards people like that, and it gives you such a beautiful quality of life, and it's something that I will never ever take for granted. But you need to make sure you have some discipline here. You can't live here and be a complete degenerate like I see so many people try and do. You will go home, and you will go home empty-handed as well. And Thailand has very much a big way of letting that happen for you. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I hope that was somewhat informative on things that you need to be careful of when you're moving here to Thailand, like your visas, your healthcare, and all the rest of it. I really do hope that was a decent video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be making more of these sort of style talking videos, talking about my experiences here in Thailand, where I've lived. I've lived in all the major tourist points. I've lived in rural Thailand. I've lived all the major places. So I'm going to start breaking down some of the major things that I've done here in Thailand, all that sort of stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Smash a like, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoyed.